Hello, welcome back to Thrive, Become Fit, Transformational Coaching. This is Erin. So I am back from Thailand. I just got back in last night and I wanted to make sure that I record for you, even though the jet lag is starting to set in. I taught a class this morning, I had a full schedule of clients because that's the way that I roll. And I'm starting to kind of drop down bit by bit. And I wanted to record this before I'm completely dead. And because it's been a minute since I talked to you. The last time you probably heard from me was my series on grief and the different steps of working through it. And that whole, my life just kind of went right before this trip. I had to move out of my house. I broke up with my long-term partner. And I felt like I was dying. My heart broke in a million pieces and all of this. But now that I'm on the other side of it, I realize how necessary it was and how it's like when you have space from something, you realize how much it wasn't working out and how maybe you were telling yourself it was working out. And then when you have space, you're like, yeah, that wasn't really, there's certain things that were cool, but just like any relationship. And he's great. He's awesome. I wish him well, but back to me. And things are going really well. So I am, back from Thailand, and today's podcast, I just kind of wanted to catch you up on some of my adventures because I think it's noteworthy. I think it's interesting, and I'm a little jet lagged. So I don't have any big breakthrough, mystical connections for you today. Maybe it'll happen, but if so, just very organically. So I spent 2 weeks in an ashram just outside of Mumbai at the Godarvan Eco Village. And I'll tell you, I've been to India, that was my 4th time. And I flew into Mumbai and then went to the Eco Village. And I'll tell you that I love India so much. So if you're an Indian national listening to this, so much respect and love. But Mumbai was my least favorite place I visited. So much pollution. And I just had to wear my scarf over my face. Again, Indian national, so warm. Food, amazing. But Mumbai, not my favorite place. The Eco Village was lovely though. And it's funny because I signed up, I heard the Joe Rogan podcast, which I'm a fan, martial artist, right? Comedian, personality. So I'm interested. I like Joe Rogan. I think he's just a fine individual. And on his podcast, I listened to, I knew about Raghunath Kapo, who's also a lead singer in Shelter and a couple other hardcore bands. Shelter's one of his more well-known ones. And I was like, oh my gosh, this guy, he's like a Hare Krishna, though I didn't know how much into Hare Krishna he was, and I'll fill you in on that in a moment. But I knew that, okay, he's the lead singer in a hardcore band, he's a martial artist, he's totally into yoga in India. I was like, well, there's my teacher right there, as far as learning kirtan and getting more proficient on the harmonium and learning how to lead them. And, this is my year Saraswati. I've said that before and I'll say it again. So I wanted to tap into my musical capabilities. I'm writing a 3rd book. I am studying language again. Just for example, this morning I took a walk in the park and I'm listening to my Japanese lesson. I came to the studio early and I was playing on the harmonium for about half an hour, went home, had some breakfast, came back, played a little bit more, taught class, played a little more. So I'm very committed to this sort of raising my vibration, tapping into talents and gifts that I know that I have. It's just, I'm a little shy about it. I don't know how to put it. I needed some guidance. I usually figure things out myself. I've had great teachers, but the path of yoga is swadhyaya mainly. It's like you're studying yourself and you're kind of testing your limits, and it pulls out resourcefulness within you. And my body work, my yoga practice, owning a studio, doing a podcast, all these things I have kind of figured out as I went. Again, I had help, but I really had to kind of pull it together. And I guess I just felt with music, I didn't have that sort of natural leadership ability maybe. And I didn't really have a guide or mentor. And it's really important for me to find the right teacher that resonates. And I'm going to take a minute to plug my yoga teacher training because we just have a few spots and it starts in February and it's life-changing. And it really does make a difference, the teacher that you have. I've been practicing yoga for almost 20 years. I've been leading trainings for over 10. I've led so many different groups, and I'm not the kind of teacher that leads a single group every single month. I lead a group once or twice a year. So I'm very committed to your growth, to your process. I like to bond with the students, and I like to show them what living a yogic lifestyle looks like, because I do. Like I live life fully. I try to live life ethically, mostly ethical. And I try to walk the walk. I really do. I do inner work. And so I think the most powerful thing a teacher can do is show the example of their life. And that's what I try to do. And I say that without arrogance. I just say that like I'm showing up, I'm being vulnerable, like I'm imperfect. But I try to apply my ethics, and I try to show you what the lessons look like in real life application. So, and to me, that's spirituality. That's a huge part of my spirituality. So anyways, so I went to this 2-week training at the Eco Village and met Raghunath, and he had some amazing teachers. And usually at trainings like that, I was expecting the yoga to be toned down. It was not. It was awesome. I was doing handstands and all types of stuff. And of course, Raghunath saw me, a practitioner of like 18 years. He's grabbing my foot and throwing things behind my head, and like in a respectful, like professional way. But it's fun always to have a teacher that sees your potential and pulls it out, because I do that to people. Of course, I love having that done to me. And in the yoga world, I'm so flexible and strong, and just like I'm an advanced practitioner. Of course, I would be at this stage. And so it was nice to be pushed. But the Hare Krishna thing. So I like knew that he was in Hare Krishna, but I didn't realize how much he was into Hare Krishna. And I guess in the last 5 years, this is what a friend told me, he's really gotten into it. Cool, awesome, it's great, I love it. I didn't know. And so after the 3rd day, I was kind of like, Hare Krishna is a great mantra. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. But like, can I get an Om Namah Shivaya? Like, give me a Om Gam Ganapatiye Namaha, like something. And so I kind of took a break for a day when we went to Mumbai City, and I was chanting everything except for Hare Krishna. And it was like such a nice break, and I felt like all this like warm, vibrating energy through me. And then the day I came back, I'm walking from class to class, and just in my head, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna. I was like, there it is. It keeps choosing me. And so then it grew on me, and then I started like really getting a sense of like the chords and the mantra. And I have a great foundation. Again, he has great teachers. It was a great program, highly recommend. And I'm going to have him on the podcast at the mid-March, along with Ann Swanson, separate podcast. Ann Swanson, I'm using both of her books in my upcoming yoga teacher training, which, by the way, I have a yoga teacher training February. If you're interested, it's life-changing. You can, come aboard and have a great mentor. Yes, again. So that was a really good time. The first couple of days, though, I sat in the front at satsang, and I just cried. Just like not even a cry. It was just literally my eyes, it was like tears, like rivers. And I was just purging. I was just grieving. I was just letting go of what I thought I had, who I thought I was. In any relationship, there's sort of an identity that you bring together. And there's always sacrifice and compromise and all that stuff. And I just let it all go. Like I let it all go to the point where my heart opened up really big. And then it's so funny because then I had this guy just message me, and it's been great. So I'm in a different spot, let's just say. I won't go into too much details for privacy's sake. But, so it was great. I also got a mridanga, which I'm learning how to play. My friend Jose, hi Jose, if you're listening to this, he gave me exactly one lesson, my homeboy from Mexico and Spain. And so I'm learning harmonium, I'm learning mridanga, I am getting all types of musical. I got a yogi punk rock band, and studying Japanese, learning languages. So I'm really embracing my year of Saraswati. Now, fast forward. So after 2 weeks at the ashram, we had a graduation ceremony. It was beautiful. I still have the bracelets from the priests on me. One is actually from a Buddhist temple, but this is from graduation. And, then I flew off to Thailand and I met with my very rambunctious former teammate, my homegirl, Corinne, and my friend Priya. So we met up in Bangkok and then immediately got on a plane, flew to Chiang Mai, went to an elephant sanctuary. We went hiking and we slept on this terrible mattress. Like all three of us, it's like, oh, you get one mattress. Okay. They're my homegirls, right? And we hiked hours and hours a day, which I love hiking. And one of the highlights of that part of the trip was playing volleyball with the locals. And just like little kids, I was doing martial arts with them, showing them some Kalari Payattu. And I have this very endearing video if you're following my socials, which by the way, if you're not, Thrive Yoga Fit and Thrive with Erin, follow my socials. You'll see all like the little endearing videos of the villager kids and all my adventures. But there was one scene where I jumped in the air and I did kind of a midair split and I threw my hands down. It's like a Kalari jump. And then the little boys were doing it and they were so excited. Maybe they hadn't seen something like that before, and certainly not like a white-skinned, blue-eyed, red-haired woman doing it. And then at the very end of the video, I didn't catch it at first, so there's a little girl that does it. She just falls right on her butt. It's so cute. When I visit another country, the touristy sites, they're fine. But what I really love is embracing the culture. I want to feel the language on my tongue. I want to feel the food in my belly. I want to give hugs, high fives, bows, head bobbles to whoever and just embrace the culture. It's the best part. There's an energy to it. There's a vibration. I'm so curious about people. I love sort of everyone's inner universe is so unique and beautiful and sacred to me. And when you go to another country, you get to see a sort of like different collective consciousness coming together and expressing in different traditions and ceremonies and rituals. And so that was amazing. One of my favorite things by far. And there's a video of me going into a waterfall, which anyone who knows me knows that I'm a real wimp when it comes to cold. But I don't know. The spirit moved me, and when I'm with my friend Corinne, just by her inspiration, like her energy is very rambunctious and kind of go for it. So I was like, all right, hop in that waterfall. And so I did, and there's this video of me. It's really pathetic, actually. I'm kind of like, when you're like at the doctor's office and they have to give you like a shot or something and you're kind of like anticipating and like they haven't even touched you with the needle and you go, ah! That's how I was with the waterfall. Again, absolutely pathetic. I like leaned back into it and I was already like shuddering and you see my shoulders like up by my ears, and then finally like the water hits me and I'm just like kind of I don't know, like what's her name? Elaine Seinfeld, like kind of weird jerky dancing into it. And then I came out and I did like in proper Erin fashion, then striked a perfect pose, got that snapped. But if you want to see the real video of how I was, check out the socials because that's the truth. So anyways, had that good time bonding with Priya. She is amazing. She does our marketing. Priya, I love you so much. And she also produces our podcast now, multi-talented one-woman army, and Corinne. So fast forward back to Bangkok after some diving, which by the way, I went diving. Diving is fine. It's nice. If I didn't go diving again, ever again, I wouldn't be too sad. But it's a fun experience. So anyways, back to Bangkok, and a couple of things happened there. One, Chinese New Year. So beautiful, so amazing, so much red everywhere. I guess that's the color of Chinese New Year. And there's a market and all types of different food, including bugs. And there was like crickets, and there was all types of things. And my friend Corinne, again, encouraging me to do a thing. Let's eat a bug. And I'm like, I don't want to eat a bug. All right, I'll eat a bug. So I was like, all right, let me choose the smallest bug. So I found a tiny bug and I picked it up, put it in my mouth and chewed it. And as soon as I chewed it, it's like, when you eat a bean and like the bean contents come out and it's like mushy, that happened with the bug. And as soon as it did, I needed to run. I was going to throw up. but it's Chinese New Year, everyone's dressed fancy, like the streets are clean, there's no garbage cans, and so I don't want to be like the gringo in or I guess gaijin, I don't know how to say it in Thai, but the foreigner just disrespecting and spitting on the ground. So I had to like run, kind of mad dash between 3 motorcycles and throw it out before I threw up. In retrospect, I probably should have chosen the cricket, but it was bigger, and I guess I thought like if it's smaller, my plan did not work. So if you eat a bug, probably I would recommend go for cricket because I think they're deep fried and it would be crunchy and crispy, but it was still in my head. I'm thinking, I'm eating a bug. This should not be in my mouth. It is a bug. What are you doing? So that was a fun experience. Another kind of fun experience that I almost had, So my friend convinced me, maybe you've heard of one of these shows in Thailand, the special shows. I'm not going to say what it is, but I think you know what I'm talking about, in the red light district. And they wanted to see it. I'll try anything twice. And so I was like, all right, I really didn't want to go. I just had a weird feel about it, but I was like, all right, let me go, make my friends happy, and peer pressure goes a long way. And yeah, again, I wanted to try things. So, so we went into the bar and they sat us right in the front. And then the girls started getting ready to perform, and they got on their backs and they took off their clothes, and I witnessed about 90 seconds before I ran out and started chanting Hare Krishna about 1,000 times. So I was like, I don't want to create a new samskara in my head. So yeah, I won't go into detail of what I saw. 90 seconds was plenty enough to make me run out, almost like how I spit out the bug. I felt one of the reasons why I ran out too is that I felt really weird watching what I was seeing. And I kind of like put my hand up and kind of blocked my eyes, almost like I felt ashamed for them. And I thought in that moment, like, these women are making their wage and they're probably enjoying themselves. And I felt really weird because I was right in the front. So here I am again, chanting Hare Krishna and 1,000 names of God inside of an ashram, and then right to the red light district in Thailand, watching the ladyboys put on a show. I'm all about contrast, if you haven't guessed, if you don't know that about me listening to my podcast by now. So yeah, that was, and I waited outside and actually started like writing my book and chanting, and then my friends came out and I asked them for some of the deets and just some of the things that they saw. So yeah, I think, all of them are probably slightly traumatized, but that's okay. I am too, maybe about 90 seconds worth. So, again, Thailand was amazing. We had a night of dancing. That was so much fun. I had so much energy to get out and work through me. And the clubs there are beautiful. It is the biggest and probably most international place I've been. It was very interesting for me because having traveled through Asia as much as I have, and by no means is it exhaustive. I've been to Bali. I've lived in Japan. So I've been in different parts of Japan. I've been to India. I've been to Thailand, different parts of Thailand, and that's all I can think of right now. So by no means exhaustive, but Thailand is there's so many foreigners. It was sort of took me by surprise, at least the areas we were in. I'm used to going to Asia and being one of the only Western people, and it was just all Western people. And so to me, it was, there was something a little bit missing from the cultural aspect, because naturally, if you're in a touristy area, the people there are going to cater to the tourists. So it's not an accurate snapshot of the culture, which is the best part for me. That being said, we did have some moments like with the villagers, and then my friend Corinne and I found like a side restaurant with all Thai people. We went there and they barely spoke English. That's what I love. Like, I want to point to something on the menu, hope it's not a bug, use my 10 words of Thai, and then see what happens. And to me, that's a fun time. That's a good time. So travel is really important to me. And if you're listening to this and you've never traveled outside of the United States, go. Doesn't matter where. Just get a different perspective. life is about growth. And if you don't choose your own challenges, I find that life will kind of like roll the dice for you. And again, if you're growing through these experiences of travel, you're seeing different aspects of yourself. When you do that, you naturally pull out resources within you. For example, traveling and then suddenly something gets canceled. You have to use your navigation skills. You have to use communication skills. You might have to learn a couple of Thai words to be able to communicate something and, then pull it all together. You have to manage your stress levels while you're traveling with all these variables in a different country. It pulls something different out of you. And those kind of challenges are something that I really embrace. And I feel like it develops character. And I feel like that, again, is another important part of spiritual development. And it's another reason why I'll never be the kind of yogi that's just like always chanting in an ashram. Do I go and do that? Yes, I just did that for 2 weeks. Do I go and sit in silent retreats? Yes, I do that usually at least once a year. Do I go and party in Bangkok and eat a bug and go to a ladyboy show? Maybe. Do I go to a skate park and grind the gnar, as they would say? Yeah. So do I do martial arts and yoga and former roller derby girl and all these things? Yeah, because contrast brings a zest to life. And I am a multi-talented person with different aspects, and so are you. So embrace it, go where your heart calls you and travel, book a ticket. Speaking of travel, if you want to go to Japan with me, I am going in November. I have 5 spots left, and our home base is Osaka. We'll go visit Kyoto and Kobe. We're going to hit up Shinosaki, which is an onsen town, and we're going to also go to Hiroshima, amongst other places. So I hope that you enjoyed this podcast. Again, it's just me catching up. I am sorry if I slurred my words at all. I am a little jet lagged, but I wanted to show up for you because that's what it takes. So have a great week, and I'll talk to you soon. Namaste. Swatika.